From the studios of Mudd Advertising in Cedar Falls, Iowa, this is MuddTV. Today, Mudd's online experts show you how to take control of both your online marketing and what your shoppers know about you.
Hi, I'm Gary Kroger. I'm your host at MuddTV, and I want to thank you for joining us today. Today, my guests are experts in search engine marketing, search engine optimization, and digital reputation management. Three aspects to online marketing that quite simply you must be using in order to be effective in today's market. My guests are from TargetClick, the online marketing component of Mudd Advertising, and they are Doug Dries, our expert in search engine marketing, Greg Joss, here to inform us about search engine optimization, and immediately to my right is Therese Kuster, who will share the importance of managing our online reputation. Those of you watching can participate live by simply logging onto the chat feature here at MuddTV, or you can send questions to askmudd@mudd.com. Doug, I'm going to start with you. All right, we all know what SEM is, search engine marketing. How does that acronym apply to us today? What does it mean?
Well, basically what that means is getting traffic to your website via different aspects of the web, whether it be paid search advertising using things like Google AdWords or display advertising, banner ads, or retargeting. And really what it's about is getting the right message to the right people at the right time. And then you can convert those visitors from your website into customers.
I'm going to give everyone a chance, just briefly, as Doug just did explain. Search engine optimization, what's the difference?
Search engine optimization is basically taking the organic listings in Google, Yahoo, or Bing, and the organic listings are right below the paid listings, which are usually in a different colored box. And the process of SEO at its bare minimum state is ranking a keyword that's valuable to you high on Google so your customers will come to it and essentially click through and become a conversion.
All right, now Therese, digital reputation. Now that was kind of a new one to me, but it's very interesting. I know that reputation is important to any dealer.
It is. It is. Your digital reputation really just refers to the way people perceive you online. And it's really important to manage that because that's where people are turning for their research, not only for vehicles, but dealerships as well. And all of those review sites like Yelp and DealerRater and even the Google Plus local listings contribute to your digital reputation, and more importantly, that's what dictates those 1 through 5-star rankings that appear on the search engine results pages.
So it really is, from a dealer's perspective, managing their brand.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, now I'm hoping that people will ask some questions because I want to drill down a little bit now. So Doug, tell us about search engine marketing. What do you do? What is your approach that makes it different from others?
I think our approach is a couple different things. The main goal is to get a conversion, get a lead, and turn that into a customer. So that's what we really like to focus on. We use a lot of data and we analyze that, and that really helps. And so we don't want to just put a campaign up and let it run and let it spend the money. We really want to look at the data and figure out the times and the areas where those leads are coming in the most, and that way we can maximize that and take advantage, and then also look at things that aren't working and make sure that we don't do that again and just really focus on what works. And then also making sure that you as a dealer knows what you're getting for every dollar spent, so you know where you're spending your money and what's working. And we want to keep doing that month over month.
Well, let me ask you a question. You keep saying we. Now, as a dealer, am I drawing these conclusions from the analytics, or are you offering recommendations? What are you saying exactly?
It's both. I mean, we really like to have a conversation with the dealer, get to know them, get to know what their goals are. And so they are typically looking at the analytics, but we also every month or week are on the phone with them, going over things, explaining to them, coming up with new strategies. So it's really a team thing, and we want to work with them.
And Doug, why don't you touch a little bit on sending the consumer to the right page at the right time?
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the things we feel that's important as well. If somebody is searching for a specific model or a specific year, they know what they're looking for. So we want to make sure that we're taking them to a page that's going to give them what they want. Because if they're searching for something specific, they're probably further along in the buying process. So we want to give the consumer what they want. And so there's a lot better chance of that visitor becoming a conversion, or somebody that's going to either pick up the phone and call you about that vehicle or model, or fill out a form online.
All right, well, let's talk about conversion then, because what you're talking about, the search engine marketing really is the content, isn't it? Driving people, providing the content. What you're talking about then with optimization is that our dealers are optimizing the opportunity to bring that content.
Right, right. And with search engine optimization, just to touch on the content a little bit, Google basically all their algorithm off, I guess I shouldn't say algorithm, but the way they rank websites off of content. So basically they download everything and then, you know, say this is what your page is about, and then they rank it, you know, based on what you search for. What we really like to look for when we're doing search engine optimization is looking at those keywords that are different areas along in the buying process. So for instance, if someone's searching for, you know, a used car, they're in the very beginning of the buying cycle because, you know, they're not sure what kind of used car they want. Maybe it's not a car, maybe they're looking for a truck. But then, you know, so you want to target those keywords because there's a lot of people looking for those, and you want to get them engaged and you want to get your brand out there. But another thing you have to consider is when those people that are farther along in the buying cycle, say they know the brand, say they know the model, say they know, you know, the mileage that they want on their vehicle. How can we target them as a consumer because we know they might buy or they want to buy in the next 30 days. So you have to optimize a website different for both those cycles in the buying cycle processes because, you know, they're wanting different things at different times.
Once again, I want to remind everyone you can log in at MuddTV, log into the chat to ask questions live, or you can email askmudd@mudd.com. I want to follow up on one thing there, Greg. What are you using? How do you come up with the keywords? What's the math there?
You know, that's a really great question, and what it really comes down to is a lot of traditional marketing. You have to, I mean, it's getting creative, and then it's using tools like, you know, ubersuggest.org, you know, Google's keyword tool, and a bunch of various different websites and things out there to see what people are looking for, see what's trending around the web, and you know, just overall what's popular and what's selling, and then what's converting.
Just because I'm a king of trivia, and I heard today that Google bought the Merchandise Mart, which is right across from our Mudd office in downtown Chicago. So there's a nice synergy. Hopefully you guys will all share that Starbucks down there and work even more with Google. Therese, bring it all together now, because we have a three-legged stool here, and you're the third leg here with managing the reputation. How does this work together?
Yes, so the reputation management process is really a three-step approach. The first is to take control of your content, take control of all of your listings. You really need to make sure that, you know, your name is listed correctly, the phone number, the address, the hours, all of those things are consistent. The second thing you have to do is see what people are saying about you online. You know, those reviews on those sites is like someone standing in front of your dealership with a megaphone shouting what they think about you. So you need to know what they're saying, and then you need to take that opportunity to respond. The third step in the reputation management process is to seek new reviews. And these are authentic, positive reviews from real buyers. It doesn't do you any good to ask all your friends to leave a positive review about your dealership. You need to really get those reviews from actual customers.
I hear a question is coming in from Ohio. How long does it take to start a campaign? That's up for any of you.
For search engine marketing, let's use a Google AdWords campaign, for example. I mean, we can really have that up and running very soon. I mean, you can, once the campaign's built, you flip the switch and the ads are running right away. And along with that, we're collecting data right away. But the whole process is to get the campaign running, you know, for 30, 60 days, look at the data, and then optimize it and make changes, and then really focus on what's working, and then weed out what isn't working. So search engine marketing is really instant gratification, up and running right away. We can get traffic right away. SEO is a little bit more of a longer process, and Greg can go over that.
Yeah, I guess the SEO process is you have to really spend a lot of time researching what you're looking for in terms of keywords, in terms of your competitors, going over your site and seeing, you know, if there's errors. We have to fix those and make sure that we're basically on the right track to make sure that your website is optimized correctly for the keywords that you want to target. What I typically like to say is we have, you know, about a 30-day window where we're going through and making sure your site is optimized just within your site. And then we start doing some different terms of external marketing, whether it's inbound marketing or link building, other forms of social you know, just social drivers trying to get people to the website.
So it's a longer term strategy because it has to be.
It has to be.
Where you get immediate results, long term. So how does it work now with your reputation? That's immediate too, right?
Yeah, reputation management is unique in that it can start instantly. Right away you can start putting out the correct information, the accurate listings. However, it does take a little bit of time for you to recognize where all of those reviews are, construct a good response, and then the third stage, we generally like to wait, 30 to 60 days, get a feel of the dealership and understand where they want to go, and then we start putting together a strategy for how to get those authentic and positive reviews.
I'd like to point out the beauty of live television. Somebody told me, Gary, Google did not buy the Merchandise Mart, they leased 600,000 square feet. So I've been corrected live here, but they have leased 600,000 square feet.
But we can still, we can still share Starbucks.
We can still share Starbucks. I also have a question here. Results. Can you give an example of what you're talking about with digital reputation management?
Yeah, we've had some really exciting success with a particular dealer that we're working with out of Texas. And something that's really exciting to me is that, we started claiming their listings and making their content accurate and consistent, and then monitoring their reviews. As we started seeing these reviews come in with people saying, I had this experience or I had that experience, if they were unhappy, the dealer has already started correcting that. We're contacting these people and saying, we're sorry for your negative experience, or we're happy for your positive one. This is what we can do to correct it, or thank you for your review. And that's really exciting because when you respond, not only does it speak to the specific person who left that review, but it gives information to anybody else that reads that review ever again. Right. Maybe they did have a poor experience, but this dealer responded and said, I'm sorry, or this is what I can do to change it, and that's the difference.
If one piece of information could be repeated, that would be it. Very, very important. I have some other questions, but again, results are important to all of us, but dealers specifically.
Yeah, we've been working with the dealer over on the East Coast doing search engine marketing for about 90 days now, and we had the opportunity to look at some of their previous data, but we rebuilt their campaigns, and since then we've increased their overall click-through rates from right around 1% to almost 3% in 90 days, and their conversion rates without increasing budget have almost doubled. And so I think that's really important because, again, we took a look at what they had and we really tried to get the most bang for their buck, increase their conversions with staying within their budget.
So I want to follow up with that because you said we took a look at what they had. You were evaluating the analytics. And a question here that they asked a little while ago, is there a dashboard for customers to evaluate the analytics?
Yeah, absolutely. Typically, dealers will have their own dashboard within their website, the back end, and then there's also dashboard Google Analytics, which they will typically have access to. And then along with that, we provide a monthly report going over what they spent, where they spent, the money, whether it be on Google or retargeting campaigns, and we'll go over, where are the conversions coming from, and make sure that they're good leads, and make sure that they're able to follow up on those, and then ultimately, hopefully, they're selling more cars.
And Greg, is there an example of what makes your approach to SEO better?
Yeah. Well, I guess if we're going to touch on results here a little bit, what we've seen with a dealer down in Florida. With the limited time that we've had with them is a lot of those customers that are farther along in the buying cycle, we're targeting some longer-tailed keywords, so these customers are a little bit more ready to buy at the time, you would say. And we've had some really, really good conversions with those, and the people are coming in and purchasing the vehicle, and that's fantastic.
About the conversion pages and how we've gotten those to rank.
Sure. The big focus that we've seen and want to continue here at Mudd is, getting dealer sales, getting conversions. How do we do that? So what we'd seen and we saw an opportunity here was a lot of the SEM dollars and SEO, people weren't getting to the page that they were looking for. So say you're looking for, whatever model of vehicle, and a dealership comes up and you go to their homepage. Well, it really does no one any good to be on the homepage. Because then you have to click through their whole entire website and you're making them work to find what they're looking for. So we came up with an approach called a conversion page, and what we do is we optimize this page, send SEM dollars to it, and what we want to do is get those customers that are farther along in the buying cycle. We want to make sure that when they're searching for that vehicle, that page comes up, because there's a call to action on there, there's a phone number, there's a contact form, and there's the vehicle that they want right in front of them.
Okay, we're going to run out of time in just a moment, but I want to remind people that you can continue to ask questions. You can always, of course, get a hold of your MUD representative, and they'll direct them to our TargetClick people here. But you can still ask a question at askmud@mud.com or log into the chat. I'm going to throw out a finishing lob here. This isn't smoke and mirrors, is it? This isn't a passing internet fancy or fad. No. It really is the way cars, that's what we're talking about here, are being marketed today, and the real way to get conversions. Am I right or am I right?
You're right.
You're right.
You're right.
You're right.
So where do we go from here?
You know, I think that's a great question, and it's a terrific lob here, because what you have to look at is people are using the internet, and they're not going to stop using the internet. The way we market to people will be different, but there's still that traditional foundation. And we have to remember that, you know, what MUD was built on here, with the traditional marketing, direct mail, and different platforms, it works, and it'll always work. But what we're bringing to the table here now is that digital driver with the internet. And I think it's going to be really powerful when we already have started doing this, really start meshing those two elements together, using the traditional, you know, what people are used to seeing with direct mail, and now the online perspective, just to, you know, you cover so much more area and so many more people. And so, you know, I'm excited about the future, and I really think that what we have going on here is great. And yeah, that's.
Therese just took over the one piece of information I'd like to repeat. He took it
Okay.
over from you. That is perfect. That is the way to say it. Again, we're around, and we're around to answer your questions. Again, you can call, you know, MUD to ask these questions. Talk to our TargetClick people directly. We want to thank you for your time. It's a subject that we could talk about, well, till the cows came home. But the cows are coming home for me to have lunch soon. So we're going to call it a day. Thanks for watching, and we hope you tune in again for MuddTV, where we like to make information entertaining. Thanks a lot, everybody. And thank you, guys.
Thank you.